Hi there, this is Kathy Crow at the Crow Cottage, and it is another beautiful day here. It's supposed to be in the 80s this week, and I already this morning went out in the garden and just on my Tri-City Crow Garden page did a little quick tour of some of the backyard. Daylilies are blooming right now, and they're so pretty, and I'm kind of reveling in it because I know it's going to get hot pretty soon, and I'm just really enjoying it. Normally, we have had some 100-degree weather already, and that kind of shuts down the roses and not the daylilies, those and the daisies and stuff. They just don't mind the heat at all. But I'm really enjoying some roses, and they're setting up really good buds again. So we should have a really nice year of those. And I do know the heat's coming, so yeah, just want to enjoy it. I was and listening to Rush Limbaugh, he was talking about some Greece philosopher. It wasn't Socrates. It was another guy. I forget his name, and he was the one who made the famous quote to, eat, drink, be happy, for tomorrow we die. It's such a cheerful thought, and yeah. I'm glad that we can enjoy nature and give glory to God, who created it, who made every day good. And hopefully you are having a wonderful day. I feel very blessed by God. I'm not in Greece. Some people are in Greece right now enjoying a wonderful trip that they well deserve. They've worked hard for it. So I know they're having a wonderful time. And I think we're going to go ahead and get started. I did put my computer on, but I still didn't get my Facebook page up yet. So I'm kind of dilly-dallying around a little bit trying to get that done. And I'm going to put my glasses on so I can actually see what I'm doing here right now. And anyhow, I hope everything is going well with everybody. Today I'm going to use this Floral Essence stamp set. It's photopolymer. I love that because this is a stamp. Stampin' Up! Has had two-step stamping products for a very long time. And I don't know if they're the original creators of it, if they're artists or not. They were the first people I saw with, with the two-step stamping, which is just to say that you can stamp a stamp right over it and make a. Usually it's a flower, but it could be other things where you're layering the images. And when we were only working with those, stamping, which is just, excuse me, got to get that off. To say when we were only working with rubber stamps that you couldn't see through, that was a very difficult process that never worked well. It just never did. I was always dissatisfied. Always thought I could do better. It wasn't me. It's something that. If we'd had the Stamparatus, it could have worked, but I didn't have that either. And there were other things that, but they were on wood blocks. Anyway, let's just go on. So I'm going to use this. I'm going to use A Friend Like You. This also is, if you are looking for a general all-purpose stamp set that can go with a lot of different things, especially if you are a a landscape kind of stamper like I am. I like landscapes because I can make them pretty for women, but I can make them masculine for men. This is one that you would use a lot. It has water on it, and I don't know if I'm using that particular stamp today, but I did use it earlier this week and really liked it. The sayings are really nice too. They're very general. So this is one that would last a long time. I don't know if I'm using Beautiful Bouquet today. I might be. This is one I go to a lot also. It has a lot of nice flowers, but as you can see, it has a ton of stamps, and I have writing on it because that's my Those are the thinlits that go in the days when they were called thinlits. Now they're dyes. They have dyes that go with that. So anyhow, I am going to swing the camera down, and hopefully I can do it in such a way that you can still see everything. This is always a little bit tricky, trying to see exactly everything that you see and get it so that there's light on it, and it's close enough but not so close that, you know. So anyhow, hopefully we'll see how far up my fingers can go before I actually get into the camera. Okay, now I can kind of see what's going on there. And I do need my cutting board. We're going to be doing a bunch of cutting. And I also am going to be using this. This is the Rose Gold Shimmer Paint. Now, this is not in the catalog. I'm sure you could find it somewhere. But they do have other shimmer paint that's just gold, I believe. The Rose Gold was only available for 1 month with the Everything is Rosy stamp suite. And I love it. It was worth buying just for this, I think, although I'm exaggerating, because I'm sure you can probably go down to any store and buy this. But we do have other shimmer paint, and the way I'm going to be using it is actually to paint right on some embossed paper that I've already done. Now this is similar to what we're going to do. Hopefully it'll turn out a little better. This is one of my first attempts. So I embossed the paper and then used, just going to use a paintbrush and paint it. Because I didn't want to put this inside my folder. You know, a lot of the techniques that we use when you want to color just the raised part, you can actually paint your folder, and then when you run it through, it will do this. But I think I tried it once with my paint. I was somewhat unsuccessful with it, and I figured it might be better for me to just paint it. It's a little sloppy, but on my sloppy parts, I am going to be putting a tag anyhow. That is a sentiment. This one doesn't have it yet. It wasn't completed. I had to let my butterfly dry. I painted the shimmer gold rose, the shimmer, my brain is stuck. The Rose Gold Shimmer Paint, I painted it on that wood butterfly, and I had to glue it on, because those wood ones, you have to use the Tombow. And anyway, I love this ribbon too, this gold ribbon with the Rococo Rose edge. It is a beautiful ribbon. So this card's not done yet. This is just the front. There's no actual card attached. I'm gonna stick it on of something I just kind of wanted to show you what I was doing there. Now I'm over here trying to see if I can see any comments, and I don't know. I'll try to play with that later, because the comments sometimes don't show up for me. It doesn't matter what I do. Then also I am going to, now these are the cards we're going to make. We're going to do a variety, and we're going to take that Floral Essence and do a background, and that background piece is going to be cut into 2, so we can get 2 cards out of it, and then we're going to just do a single one that I'll have to drag out my rectangle die to cut out. I left that over there, but other than that, I think we're all set. And I didn't really like, I had a piece of Mint Macaron green left over that I wanted to use up, so I used that, but I really didn't like its combination with Flirty Flamingo. And Flirty Flamingo is what I have available. I ran my country floral dynamic embossing folder. Oh my goodness, these words are so long. I ran that through on several Flirty Flamingo pieces, and had some leftovers, so I want to use my leftovers up, and it goes pretty good. The Rococo Rose would probably look better, but I actually prefer the Flirty Flamingo for the Floral Essence anyway. The Rococo Rose is nice. It's a little bit dusky for me. to go with gold. In fact, here it is right there. I did use it for the sentiment. And then the other thing that I'm going to be using today is this laser DSP. We've got some laser I believe it's still in the catalog, and there are these little thin border strips that are pretty cool. I don't want to throw them away, but I forget to use them. And so I'm going to use some of that up today on these cards instead of ribbon. You could put ribbon here, but I'm going to try to keep it a little simpler, and then we're going to see how that goes. So those are the projects we're going to be making, and we're going to just go ahead and get started first of all by painting our paper. Now I already ran this through. If this is not crumb cake, it should be crumb cake. That's the color that trying to go for. Always shake your shimmer paint up, because it does separate in there. And I've got this vanilla on here because I need to make a thank you card. We have a sweet girl at our church who's part of our church staff. I love her. And she went on a Mexican mission trip and brought this back, and I tried this in my tea today. It was delicious. So I have that sitting on my desk because I don't want to forget to make a little thank you card for her. Now you can just use what's in your lid, and I'm going to actually get a little piece of paper towel out here on the side. What I usually do is I just dip in and then I put some in the lid so that I have something to work with, but I don't want a big glob on my brush because I don't want to get too much on. If I wanted to be, if I was a perfectionist here, this would be driving me crazy. And I probably wouldn't do this method. I would do something else because if I was a only use this on one card, so I'm not going to use this whole surface. Some of it's going to get cut away, but I'm going to use enough of it that I'm going to want to go ahead and cover the whole thing. When you're painting, one good rule of thumb is I'm going to need to use this part of my hand as a rest to steady it. So generally, I would work from this side over so that I can rest my hand on my project without smearing up something that I've already done. So since I already started here and sort of messed that up, I can adjust my project. This is one that I can move. Sometimes when you're working on a project or if you're painting in your house, you don't have the luxury of moving your wall around or cabinet to be able to just adjust it so that your hand can always rest where there's no wet paint. That's the problem with trying to do house tasks sometimes. So anyway, I like doing cards because it's very, very relaxing. We have on our team, Diana Maurice. I don't think you are watching. You're usually working at this time, but if you are, those cards you made with that Sailing Home stamp set are so beautiful. She put those on our team page, and I loved seeing those, and they were such pretty colors, and that's a gorgeous stamp set. I really like that Sailing Home one. And so she said that she'd made a bunch of cards, and it was very relaxing, and I'm so happy to hear that. It should be. If this is something that is making you tense, maybe it's not for you. It needs to be something that you enjoy doing, and it should be relaxing. It sure is for me. I really, really enjoy doing all kinds of things. Stampin' Up! Comes up with all kinds of new products and new. I don't have to wonder what's in fashion because basically I kind of know just from my Stampin' Up! Stamps whatever is on whatever's popular at the moment, the colors that are popular at the moment. Well, that's because I'm sure Stampin' Up! Pays a fair amount for their marketing team, and they get that stuff figured out for us, so we don't have to worry about it. But anyway, this part is actually very relaxing to me. Some people probably would be really going nuts here, but I kind of like to paint. In fact, when our house needs to be painted, I don't mind doing. I mean, I don't prefer doing it myself. It was nice when our kids were home and they did a lot of it with me. That was nice. But Jeff works so much, he'd be happy to do it. And he has helped during the summer some, but I don't know. He and I don't work well together. He likes to get things done, and I do too, but sometimes it's like, well, I'd like to be a little more careful about getting it done. He is really good at painting. He's much better at it than I am, actually. I think I'm more the one that usually tries to rush through a project and it doesn't get done very well. He's actually a lot better at that than I am, so maybe I should just give him the job of painting the house in the summers. But one reason I end up doing it is because the plants all around our house they're all leaning up against the house. You can't get to a lot of the house hardly in the summer when it's ideal, time to paint. And so actually after things have died down in the fall and winter is when I get a lot of painting done, although there's not a lot of window of time to do that either, because of course you can't do that when it's cold out there. But anyway, that's I guess why I end up doing more of the painting. In the old days, before Jeff retired from football in the fall, he was super busy doing football coaching, so he definitely wasn't available to help. Even on the weekend, he was always having to take a nap because he'd get up like at 4 a.m. and go strong all day at school and practice after school and get home at sometimes almost 7 o'clock at night and then eat and fall asleep probably watching TV and then start all over again the next day at 4 a.m. So he's a busy guy. Not quite so busy now, so that's nice. Nice when you get older, your body doesn't just go nonstop like that. I know some people have a hard time doing that even when they're young, okay? Imagine what it's like when you get older. So anyway, enjoy what you have. Hopefully, if you're having issues getting up in the morning, then hopefully you don't have to. I'm a late riser. I don't like getting up in the morning. It's miserable getting up in the morning, and it's nice for Jeff to not have to be here to listen to me whine in the morning much. He gets himself out, so he doesn't have to hear it. There. Okay, so that's done. Very shimmery and nice. You just want to clean your brush off because it will ruin your brush if you don't. So we are done with that. Well, actually, we're not done. Did I? We are. I used it on another one to do the edge of a label, but we're not doing it. But I need to set that aside so that can dry. And then I dropped my cutting board on the ground. Hopefully I didn't lose the blade. No, it looks like it's fine. Okay, so we are going to look over here really quick. I need to check out my Facebook page and see if I see anything going on here today. I don't, and I hate to click on the thing because if I do click on it, then my voice goes, and I don't like hearing it. But I don't see anything going on there, so that's fine. It is a very busy summer, so I'm not surprised. And I do want to remind everybody that we have bonus days right now. And all that means is that if you buy anything from $50 worth of product, for every $50 level you purchase, you will get a $5 coupon emailed to you, and then you can use that as towards future things. So it wouldn't be bad to buy something right now. I've bought a few things so that I have my little coupons ready to go when that holiday catalog comes out, because it's going to come out. And I've seen some of the goodies from our team leaders where they've, on their Greece cruise, they've gotten a sneak preview. Hi, Diana. I was just telling people about how you made such beautiful cards over the weekend with that sailing home theme. Love that. Those were so pretty. But on the cruise, they get to see the holiday catalog, and shared some of pictures of what they'd gotten to see. I'm sure they are not allowed to actually show the catalog. Stampin' Up! Has a lot of problems with thieves out in the world, and as soon as those images go live, there are bogus, cheapo, knockoff imitations produced, mass-produced, and put on the market for, what is supposedly a bargain, but these are garbage pieces of work, so you definitely don't want to buy any of that stuff, but people do. Okay, so on my card, I use the Country Floral embossing folder for this bottom part. And as I said, I already had a couple of pieces, so I'm going to be using these two on other cards. But for this card, I decided I wanted to use a different color instead of sticking with pink. So I'm going to use the Highland Heather, and this is one that I embossed with the quilt top. And so that's what we're going to do for this first card. So I'm just explaining that even though this is a pink card, we're actually going to turn it into a purple one. And I want to leave a little bit of an edge. So I cut this card 4.5 or 4.25 inches across. Of course, it's 11 inches down. Scored it at 5.5, folded it. That's what I was just doing. And now I'm going to cut this embossed piece. We're going to cut it at 4 inches. Okay, hopefully my edges are nice and straight. And because it's embossed, even though my blade is working fine, because it's embossed, it won't actually cut. All those little raised edges make it not want to cut all the way through. So I do have to trim it just a bit there to get that to cut through. And then I do want the edges of the bottom to go all the way to the bottom. Let's see if they do. They might not, because this piece looks like it was just a little short of that. So that's okay. I'm going to live with that. So I am going to just glue this down onto that card and onto this card. And then we will get started making my... using that Floral Essence to the Floral Essence, flowers. We're going to use, I think we'll use Highland Heather, since that's the color of this background piece that I'm going to glue on the card. I think I really love that Purple Posy, but we still don't have Purple Posy ink pads. I can't believe we don't, but we don't. And so I went back into my stash. Ooh, I think I just did the wrong piece. I did. I've got a lovely glue-ready piece of embossing. I will use that later, but I need to do this piece. So excuse me while I glue it up again. If you have Orchid Opulence, that is an old retired stamp or ink pad color. I have no idea when it was current in Stampin' Up, in a Stampin' Up world. I just know I had an old Orchid Opulence ink pad, and it actually is pretty close to what I believe is going to be the color for Purple Posy. Now my cutter, or the way I had it trimmed, it looks like it was crooked there. I'm not too happy about that, but I don't know. Short of trimming my card to the side, which would make it a little less obvious, I don't know what else to do. So we'll just do that, although that's not ideal. Don't really like that, but that's what we're gonna do because I had glue on it and I don't want to mess with it. Okay, so now what I need to do is we need a piece of Whisper White. Now for my background card, I just used some old white cardstock I had on hand. That's about the same weight. It is the same weight as my Whisper White. But I use Stampin' Up's Whisper White always to stamp on. It's a much smoother, nicer cardstock. You're just gonna always like your stamped images better on it. So, let me put my cutting board down here. And we will get out this Floral Essence stamp set. Now, it does have this, just outlined flower, and it's pretty, but you would probably want to use a Memento Black on that. And we're going to use these two that are sort of a reverse photographic image almost of okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get that out, and I just don't want to lose my stamp set. That's what often happens when I'm fooling around here. So we've got Highland Heather, and we'll see how Highland Heather turns out. I haven't actually stamped this color with this yet, so I'm not sure how I'm going to like it. And then I also think I used Garden Green. I didn't really like the Garden Green, and so I want to go with a different green this time. And actually before I stamp this flower, I should probably stamp the leaf. And I'm going to use Pear Pizzazz for the cardstock with the other cards. This one doesn't have it, but I'm going to go ahead and stick with the same color. So let's just stamp some of the leaves right now before I get carried away here. Oops, I stuck it over here. It comes with two different styles of leaf, but I think this is more the kind of leaf you would see with this flower. I'm not exactly sure what kind of flower this is. Now I know it looks to me like they're trying to do an orchid sort of thing here, but I think that's just so you can layer the different, because that's not an orchid. And this looks like a poppy, and poppies do have different leaves, it's true, but we're going to go with this one. So all right, so we're going to just stick a leaf there. And I didn't really like my duplicate leaf, so I think we'll do one there. And this is where I fall down sometimes on placement of what do I like. I don't know that I really want. I'm going to have my flower here. I'm going to have it here. It does also have a smaller leaf. That's the same style. So let's get that one out. This is like a double leaf. And I thought there he is. There's a little teeny tiny one. So we will just get this little guy out. Because I actually just want one more small one right there. There we go. Okay, that's better. Now we're ready to stamp the flower. My son gave me, or didn't give me, he just left home. He's left home many books, but he told me to read this Tales Before Tolkien, and I'm really enjoying it. If you ever see, I'm sure you can get it really cheap on eBay or something. This is obviously a copy he got at our local community college, and the first story is the elves, and it's translated, so it would have not been in a language that I could have read. I really enjoyed it. It's very well written. The next one is from George MacDonald, and it's called The Golden Key. You probably have heard of it or read it, but I haven't, so I'm really enjoying it. Okay, let's see now. We're going to try putting our flower in here. Now, I don't want to go over my leaf. I'm going to have to take off my glasses. I cannot really see what's going on here with my glasses on. Okay. Ooh, pretty. Love it. This is going to look very nice. And then we'll get the littler flower for down below. I never get my stamps exactly back on where they should be. I should be more careful about that. And we'll try the little guy. Right. Oops. We want to not get my leaf really in there. Very good. That's perfect. Okay, so now I should have stamped my stem. I'm going to have a little trouble with my stem now because it's going to have to go right down through there. There's a stem, and the stem is going to make it, a stem's pretty easy to stamp portions of so that you don't have to mask. I could cut out pieces and mask to make sure. And actually, I might use a piece of paper to cover some up if I think I need to. But we'll see what happens without doing that. And let's grab that Pear Pizzazz out again. Hi, Freddie. And thank you, Freddie, for sharing. I appreciate that. It's nice that you are here. I thought maybe you might forget again. It happens, it's summertime. Things happen. Oops, this stem you can turn upside down. It actually has a fatter, so this is the actual top of the stem, but I've turned it all different ways, and it doesn't really matter. I just kind of need to have it going down like here, and I want to see what I'm doing so I don't ink up more stem than I need to. I'm going to have to get my head in here because I can't see very well. All right, so that stem's there. That's good. And then I just need to clean this off. And now I'm going to turn it over because I want it to, because it's a photopolymer, you can curve it, which is kind of nice. Maybe I'll just do that. I'll give it an interesting curve here. Maybe not that interesting. That's a little too interesting. And somehow we're not curving the way we want, so maybe I'll stick with we'll go this way. Yes, okay. Not quite happy with that. We're going to get just a tiny bit here, and we're going to go like that. And you're probably wondering, what the heck is she doing? And then I actually want my stem to be going right here, and then we're going to get another little bit of it. I need this to be joined in. We're going to just stick that there. I still kind of have an awkward, it should be flowing like this, and it's not quite. And I don't know exactly how I'm going to try to fix that. I think we'll just do a little portion again. I've got some on there. There we go. Getting there. I'm awkwardly getting there, but we're getting there. Okay, so that's better. As you can see anyway, you can play with your stem. You almost forgot. Yes, put some English on it. There you go. That sounds good. So anyhow, let me grab my last little bit of this centers. It has its own little centers. Love that. It's so cute. And then I think I used pineapple punch for those centers. I want them to be nice and bright. So we'll get that out there. This is the big center. And that just goes right in the middle of your big one. And it can overlap, as you can see. You don't have to be very exact with that one. And then the little center, actually that's a little fan. That looks like a little ginkgo leaf. This is the little flower, and it has a little divot. So that little divot is gonna go, actually I think the little divot should go right there, but it doesn't really seem to want to, so we're gonna stick it right there. Oops, I got some yellow, of course, there, which means now instead of my sentiment being on the bottom, I'm probably going to want to stick it up on the top to conceal my flub. So we'll probably go with a different sentiment, stick it there, and I did really prefer it there, but you know, this is the way it goes. And then I'm going to put my ribbon down there, and I cut out, silly me, I didn't cut out the purple ribbon. I cut off this ribbon, which is not the color we're using now. So anyway, whatever. So anyhow, I guess nobody has, are you holding the, I don't think I am. I'm not holding your, yeah, I'm not doing something right, that's for sure. I'm having a very hard time just getting these to stay on the plastic. Sometimes I don't do very well with that. I'm thinking about my book. Okay, so Freddie, have you read any of this, of George MacDonald, The Golden Key? Now, this is from the Tales Before Tolkien. They're very old stories. Many of them have been translated, I'm sure, from another language. They're fairy tales. I love them. They're very, very fun. And the preface for the short stories, okay, and they're very readable. Let's go with all. Let me look at my sentiments here really quick. I got distracted, but I want to make sure my sentiment's going to cover up my yellow splotch. But on the other hand, I've got a variety here from Beautiful Bouquet. And I couldn't have picked a better friend than you is one of my favorite ones from this Beautiful Bouquet set. It is going to fit perfect. Excellent. Okay, so we're going to want to do that, of course, with our Highland Heather color. You haven't read, well, anyway, if you like reading fairy tales, they're short, easy reads. They were from my son's college, junior college, days, and he likes Tolkien, and I do too. The length of those books are a little daunting sometimes, so it's nice to have a shorter read. Okay, now I need to move my books and things. I've got my little garden journal going. I was writing in my yard all of my plans that I need to note down, what I need to be working on this next winter when I have time to look in there, and what was successful and what wasn't. And I need that rectangular rectangular stitched die, and that is the one thing, of course, that I did not bring over. So excuse me while I move myself over to that area and grab it, and then I need to see exactly which die it is. Ooh, that's not going to be big enough. That's too big. And yes, that's the one. So I didn't even notice, but my friend, she used to be a businesswoman, so she's very detail oriented. Each one of your dies has a number, and that could come in very handy if you ever lose a die. If you need to replace just one die from some accident that caused it to disappear. On the demonstrator's website, somebody might be able to actually help you, I suppose. I don't know. It seems like a pretty daunting thing, actually, to get one die. So I don't know that would ever really come in all that handy, knowing the number of the one die, but I suppose it might. I don't know. Generally, you have to buy a whole set of anything, so I don't know. But okay, so we've got that cut out, and I need to. While I was over there, I should have grabbed my purple ribbon that I need. So let me go wiggling the camera again as I kind of squeeze by. I'm a little smaller, so I do actually squeeze by, but it's still not an easy squeeze by. And the trick is to try to get my ribbon without losing that little straight pin that holds it all in place. Okay, so we are going to tie a little ribbon around the bottom. Your colors match, your nails match. I like that color too. I'm going to change my nails today because this is my 4th of July nails, and the glitter usually lasts a long time, but this particular glitter did not. It was looking pretty shabby for church yesterday, but it actually matched what I was wearing, so I didn't bother changing it. But yeah, today the color gets changed. So you just are going to tie a haphazard little bow, and a little bow at the bottom of a bouquet always looks nice. You really can't go wrong with that, no matter what you do. Okay. So as I was saying, looks like they're having fun on their Greece cruise. And when I was looking at some of the pictures of the new holiday catalog that they are getting a sneak peek of, oh man, they've got a really nice big cardinal and dies to go with it. Oh my goodness, I was really happy to see that. There was a whole bunch of really cute things. There always is. I'm saving up my little coupons from my purchases this month to hopefully be able to get a good head start on that holiday catalog when it arrives. So you're going to just put some dimensionals on the back, and then this one is going to be relatively finished. I'm kind of running out of time, and I haven't even stamped the background one. But that's okay, we'll get to it. It won't take too long. The background one actually goes pretty quick. Trying to paint the painting of that background on that other card's what actually was taking so long today. And Freddie, I don't even think you saw it. Your life is a fairy tale. That could be a good thing. I hope so, because in the first story of the Tolkien book that I was mentioning, the first story is called The Elves, and the story, isn't that cute? The story begins, and so this is what my pink one looks like, but I really like that purple one. I think a lighter color wouldn't be bad either. Purple posy and using purple posy or just stamp off your Highland Heather once and do it. I think that would look cute. All right, so in the elves, the story starts with this nice little family with one daughter. They live near a woods. Of course, these are European stories. I'm sure it was German, something like that. And they tell her not to ever go into the woods. You know, the people that live in the woods are creepy people, and they don't want to have anything to do with them. This is the card we're going to do next because I think my background is dry. I used that Rose Gold Shimmer Paint to paint the little leaves, and it is dry now. We're going to put it on the Rococo Rose the Rococo Rose cardstock. And and then we're going to take a piece of white, if I can find it here, a piece of white. Let's just stamp the background. We're going to, for these next two cards, we're going to just stamp these pieces with this, the Floral Essence, and just make our own little background. Anyway, so she doesn't want to ever go to the woods because when they can see the huts and where the smoke is rising from these huts, you know, and it doesn't look like a nice place. So the little girl is not at all tempted to go to that village, which is a good thing. I'm looking for my flirty flamingo. I actually have two flirty flamingos. I accidentally ordered one, and I sort of like my old pad better than my new one. But she has a playmate, and the playmate convinces her to run a race with him, and her route has to go through or right by the wood. So although they are not tempted at all to go to the woods where they're not supposed to. Hi, Mercedes. It's nice to see you. All right. Now, when you're doing I always stamp my my edge pieces first, because I always you want to get some off of the edge. So that's just my method. I do those first and then stick in my, oops. Now it should not have done that. That's very frustrating. I am going to have to go right over that. Thankfully, since it's a photopolymer one, I could do that and it was not a problem. But anyhow, when she's going by the wood, the little girl's name is Mary. Okay, so of course I immediately was drawn to the story because our daughter was named Mary, and I could just see my little daughter Mary playing, tag with a friend or going somewhere accidentally, of course. So anyhow, you want to leave enough space for your leaves, and okay, we'll put one there. We'll put one partial one right there. Okay, now that is good. The hard thing about doing a background is always over stamping, I want to stamp it all. They're so cute. But when she's going by the wood, she sees this little dog. When she first sees the little dog, he doesn't look like an attractive little dog at all. But then as she looks at him, she sees that he's bright. He has this really bright, glittery red collar. And it tinkles, has a little tinkling bell. And so she's just really drawn to this cute little dog who's yapping at her. She goes over there by him, and then, of course, she peeks into the woods, and she sees how the little huts and things that she thought were really ugly looking are not. They're beautiful, in fact. And then as she's looking in the woods, she sees that there's flowers and roses and all kinds of beautiful things. So oh my goodness, I can't get my my pineapple punch open. Anyhow, so she's just very attracted to it, so she gets drawn into it. So as a reader of a modern day story, I would automatically, I'm assuming that these people are going to be evil people in there, right? I mean, maybe that's just me, and that's just what I would assume, but I did stamp off for one just to see whether I want to do that. I might. I'm having a hard time getting a even impression on there for some reason. And anyway, so throughout the whole book, I was looking for the inhabitants of the wood, who are the elves. You know, this is who the title is, the elves. This is who the story's about. I assumed that they were going to be evil in some way or just not good, because that's typically the kind of story that we get told, or either that or the reverse, that they're, of course, wonderful and much nicer and better than us. So anyhow, the story actually doesn't progress that way so much. And it is just a really nice little fairy tale, and I'm not going to spoil it for you because I think you might possibly want to read it sometime. I'm sure you could find it in the library, and it's not a very long story, so you wouldn't have a hard time finding it. It is, let's look, The Elves. It is by Ludwig Tieck or whatever. I don't know how to say his name because, of course, he was a translation. So, and anyhow, it was published in 1812. There you go. That's how modern my reading it consists of. All right, so we are using Pear Pizzazz, and we're working towards these cards. It's going slow, but we're doing it. And now I just need this little leaf. I'm actually going to use the big leaf, probably only once, but we'll stick that in there. Oh, possibly here. Okay, and then we'll do another one like right there. And we'll put the edges of it up here. And then we want to get the little one going. This little tiny leaf. It's always fun. Where do I put the leaf? I like making background papers. They're fun. The thing is that you can make it any color you want, and that comes in really handy sometimes. And it can be random, right? I want a little duplicate here. We're gonna go like that. And like that. Okay, now we are done with our background stamp. And that was fun. It doesn't take very long, and then this is going to be 2 cards worth. I'm going to stick that back into my Floral Essence box, and we're going to put my green ink away before I accidentally do something with it. Now, we do have a tag that we're going to do, and so before I put that all away, I should probably do my tag. I need just a little piece of white paper. I don't want to grab a whole piece, so I'm going to use this piece. And we're going to do a stamp off image of these 2. Yeah, Freddie, I like stories like that. They're entertaining. There's no bad language. There's actually a good theme. Although this one, in its ending, it wasn't a bad theme. It was just sort of like a, I don't know, it kind of just ended abruptly, actually. So we're going to stamp off a couple of times on this one. Okay, we just want the faintest of impressions because I need to get this sentiment dark enough over it that it can be seen. But I wanted a faint, almost a memory of the background paper. So we're stamping off twice and just doing that there. I don't know how much of it will fit in my tag, but it doesn't really matter. And now we can put our Flirty Flamingo up, but not really away, because that's actually what I used for the sentiment too. And then with our Pineapple Punch, we're going to stamp that one off as well. I don't want a big bright yellow glob. So the glare of my light is making it difficult for me to see where I'm stamping. There we go. It's a little bit bright. I should have stamped off a little bit more. So for this next one, I will. We'll stamp most of it off. 1, 2, 3. And there we go. Okay, very nice. My son, Joel, just got, he's always been a good writer. Probably one of the first stories he did when he was just a kid in school. His teachers told him he should write, and we've kind of encouraged him to do that, but if it just didn't happen. It's not an easy field, I think, to get into, and so, well, it is if you, I suppose, if you know people, know the process. It's, you didn't want to, I don't know. Anyway, it was not easy. But the long story of it is that while he is working as a security guard, he got an internship writing, doing all kinds of editing and who knows what, all kinds of things. So actually, that's just a real blessing from God. I know that something good will turn up from that, and he's enjoying it. He did a fun little story. If you ever go to, what's it called? It's on Facebook, so you could find it. Interactive Journeys, I think it is, and his name's Joel Crow. And he did these little short stories. I mean, he did a series where he would write, probably 2 or 3 pages worth of a story about what you would read in a chapter, if it was a short chapter book, he knows I love mystery stories, and I've always complained over the years about finding clean, well-written, entertaining, actual mystery stories without some romance or odd things shoved into it just to, attract a particular audience. And so he wrote this interactive thing that he knew I would enjoy, and I did. So he would write a new chapter every week. So it looks like I need to do this about 3 inches. And let me just double check to make sure I've got enough to do that one. Yes, I do. Okay. So we're going to just go over here 3 inches and cut that. And then that's going to go on this card, and then this one's going to go on the other card. We'll have to trim it a bit more, but I'll just tuck that in underneath here. And so it was a choose your own ending story. And I loved it. It was great. But then he got really busy, and then he got this internship, and I don't think he's finished it yet. I think there's one more chapter he still has to do. And I really was enjoying it. So I hate to have it stop, and I do want to know how the story ends. So anyway, if you're ever interested, go try to find that. Interactive collection of, I don't know. But anyway, it's connected to my son, Joel Crow. Okay, so this is how we're going to do this. I do really kind of want my flower here. I think I need another little flower right there because it didn't quite get turned. Maybe I want to put this one here. Is it long enough? Oh, it barely is. Okay. My flowers are kind of not, when I did it on this one, I have this one facing up. And when I was stamping, I really didn't think about that. So this is the way it kind of has to go. But then there's this spot here that seems a little bit blank. When I put my label on, I think I'll put it up here more. And this is what you do, you know, as you're doing card things. You just sort of figure out what you want to do with stuff, because it never is exactly the same. So I don't have a lot of patience with trying to exactly ever copy somebody. I have found that it's possible. You can do it. You can copy it, and it'll look really good. But something kind of weird will come up like this, that if you just have an open mind, you might actually prefer the way it turned out. Now, if I was doing a ribbon, I would probably want it tucked under here. But because I'm using this strip from the laser cut DSP, I don't have to do that. But having said that, when I did use this, I realized it sort of is like a ribbon, in that if I leave the edges, it's pretty fine and small, and I'm afraid it'll rip up. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to just put my little snail on here. I'm going to do it on the side so that when I get my fingers in that glue, or that won't be so sticky. It'll be sticking over there instead of right here where I'm trying to work. Okay, so I'm just putting that right there, and then it just sort of covers up that edge. I just need a tiny bit there. And then that can fold in almost like a little ribbon. Okay, isn't that cute? So that's how I'm using that DSP. I haven't gotten into much of my, let's see, I actually glued that. I haven't gotten into my laser cut DSP hardly at all. I've seen some wonderful projects. And then when I'm doing that concertina class that's coming up in September, I am going to use a bunch of it at that time. And I think I am going to get a group going that is doing scrapbooking, and I am quite certain we'll use a bunch of it there with scrapbooking. Okay, so for this tag, I need I need my Stamparatus out, because I need that to be stamped several times. It definitely won't be firm enough if I don't. So we're going to just take our piece that let's make sure I get it going the right direction. I want my sentiment to go like that. So I've actually got all the names of my people who shared. And we're going to do that at the end here. I don't want to lose that. So I'll keep that tucked in there. I'll put this on here. Last time when I did this sentiment, I noticed that, now on this one I'm doing, let's see, I want it to cover it pretty well. I need a lot of birthday cards. I do a lot of birthday cards. So we're going to enjoy the little things. Although I really did, maybe I won't do. I love this saying. This one's a really good one. And it fits this tag perfectly. So maybe I won't use this after all. But my enjoying the little things is a good birthday stamp. Maybe I'll get it out for something else. But this is part of the Floral Essence one. It's good. It has the wishing you a blissful future stamp, which I love for weddings. That's going to be really nice. So I'm going to just stick this right where I want it. Okay, and I'm going to clean it off. I've got stuff on there. Okay, so that's where we're going to put it. And I'll ink it up. We're gonna have to stamp this a few times, I know, to get it as dark as I want. There's one. That's pretty good. There's two. We're gonna do it one more time. There, that's perfect. And now I can see that really well. And I've lost my Simply Chamois. Where did it go? I need that to clean this stamp. I've got ink on the inside of that. I'll kind of leave it out. Maybe I'll leave my magnets out to remind me. I've got to clean that Stamparatus plate. I got Flirty Flamingo all over it. Okay. No, you couldn't see it, but it was there. And the next time I go to stamp, probably it'll get on my hand, and then I'll put my hand on the card that's going to be a white one. And, you know, it'll be one of those deals. Okay, so this is what we're doing, and we're getting down to the end. I've got my Pear Pizzazz. It's a little different. I don't know what color I've got there, but we're going to use the Everyday Label punch, and I'm going to just punch this 2 times like this. Okay, and we're going to punch this. Try to get it placed the way I want it. I want to see all of my sentiment. I didn't really get all of my flower. I could have put my little one down a little lower, but that's okay. It's looking pretty good. And then we're going to just take my tag and we're going to cut it in half here, and we're going to cut it in half here. And I'm going to take some snail and put that on the back here, kind of just all around the edge. And we're going to try to get a little border going here. Okay, so there's one side. And this side. Now I saw this trick on, oh, I don't remember who it was now. But it looks pretty nice. You do end up with a little extra, like horns, if you will, here. You can snip those off if you like, but I actually don't mind it. It's just nice to have a bit of an edge to my tag, and it's a pretty quick and easy way to do it. And then I will take this. Oops, my light went off. Sorry. This is actually Old Olive ribbon. We're going to just stick that on there sort of haphazardly. Okay, that is very haphazard. And I might have even put a little too much ribbon there. I cut it a little long, I suppose, but that's okay. Yeah, Freddie, I was really excited to find that trick too. It was, oh, I wanted to put my label actually up there, didn't I? Let's move my ribbon a tiny bit here. There we go. Because I actually want it up there a bit. Okay. There we go. So that one is done. Pretty slick and easy. And then this one, and we will be all finished. And this little piece is gonna be put on Rosy Rococo. Oh, what did I do with my background piece that I had handy here? That we spent all that time painting earlier today. Oh, I'll find it. It's in this pile somewhere. I'm not going to worry about it too much. First of all, I need to put, we'll just proceed as though, like if you're playing in a band, you know, have a musical talent and you're playing somewhere, whether you're by yourself, but especially if you're with someone, you just proceed as though it was all part of the performance. And if something happens and doesn't really work the way you wanted or expected it to, you pretend you didn't notice and you go on. And that's what I'm doing, because I'm sure I'll find that piece of painted embossed, layered, that I only spent probably 15 minutes painting at the beginning here. I'm sure I'll find it. Okay, so we cut it at 5.5 inches and scored it at 4 1/4, and now we're ready to find, and we do have to find this piece now because it has to go on there. I guess in the meantime, while I'm thinking about it, I can trim my while my eyes are searching madly all about the desk, I can trim this. This was actually 1.5 inches. And I prefer this side to this side, I believe. So we'll turn it around and we'll cut off. We're going to cut off a little bit of this side and a little bit of the other side. Getting it to 1.5, about. It can be a little bigger. So I actually am liking this background piece a tiny bit more than the one that I was working with earlier. And then we're going to, while I've got my Rosy Rococo right here, I am going to just kind of eyeball where I want these cuts. And I'm going to just do it while I'm right here with the cutting board. Let's see, is that far enough over? I think so. Okay. Oh, it didn't quite go. My blade is getting dull. It's getting very dull. And I do have other ones. It's just that since we are sort of having to make do with very few, I need to cut it again anyway. Since we have to just make do with what our supply is, since I'm not going to be able to order any more cutting blades, I'm scared to replace. I don't want to have to buy a new cutting board, and I'm afraid I might have to. I actually have a spare cutting board that I could use. So it's not like I really would be stuck. But I feel like I will be. I'm feeling a little bit panicky about not having a Stampin' Up! Trimmer available in the catalog. That's just making me a little nervous. Okay, so we're gonna push my scraps aside, and I believe this is the piece we're working with. That looks pretty good. So we will put some glue on the back of that and continue the search for my painted background piece that is still mysteriously floating about here somewhere, unseen. But it has to be nearby. Maybe it went on the floor. Now I use that DSP here too, but before I lay it on there, I need to put this on this piece of, I used my scrap of country floral embossing, that I did my flirty fling. It's a little bit short, isn't it? Maybe I made my piece too long. Yes, I did. Oh dear. This is going to take a little bit of correcting, so let's do this really quick. Ah, there we go. Little crooked, but oh well. I didn't want to let that glue set. Okay, let's check that out. Better. And that's going to work pretty well, I think. So we'll go ahead and put that on the country floral embossing Flirty Flamingo piece. And then we're going to put, oh, at Hobby Lobby, Freddie, you can get the same blades for our Stampin' Up! Trimmer. If so, I am going to be so thrilled by that. I would be very thrilled to know that. Okay, so I've got some snail. Oh, there's the snail. I was going to say maybe the snail is floating around over by my hidden painted piece. I'm going to just run a piece of snail. Oops, kind of doing it off camera only because I need to work on the space. And once you've run your snail on it, it's quite sticky. I can't continue to work there. So we're gonna put this DSP on the edge there. So it looks almost like you've got a little bit of eyelet, you know. I could put ribbon again. Normally I would use ribbon, but I am wanting to use up this. Oh, this is a little bit different edge. That's okay. I didn't notice that. I thought it was the same, or I would have used this one. Both places. I think I can lift this off. Whew, I can. Good. I want it to be different. One side is white, one side is vanilla. And so that being said, of course, my tendency is to always get vanilla on one side of the card and then accidentally get white on the other side. And it's like, is this vanilla or is this white? This is vanilla. This is white. So we want the white side on here. And there, you can't even, because I didn't have that piece wide enough, I should have left it wider. And I could, I suppose, put this more on the part that's down. So let's just lift this up and do a real search for this missing piece that I know is here somewhere. I just can't find it. It's got to be laying right near me. And it's not hiding there. Where in the world did I put it? I know I stuck it somewhere because I didn't want it to disappear on me, and this is hilarious. Where in the world did it go? Oh my goodness. This is the problem for me when I'm doing more than one project. I should have had a basket with all of the things needed in it so that I wouldn't lose an important piece. Let's just keep looking. I'm sure it's here. Very curious. And I don't really have time to create another piece. Maybe I tucked it in down here. I have like all these little cabinet cubby things all around. And it's possible I tucked it in one of those. And I'm still just not seeing it. They're very strange. I wonder if I put it accidentally inside of one of my stamp cases. Could it be? No. Let's see. Not there. This is not it. Oh my goodness. Where is it? This is hilarious. It was, I swear, I did do it. It was a crumb cake background. You saw me make it, right? I didn't just completely imagine it and dream it up. Those two are done. That's done. Well, while I'm thinking about it, because here's my paint to prove we did it. Oh, there it is. Where did it come from? It just sort of magically appeared. Ooh, the fairies. It must be the fairies. Okay, so we're going to take an edge off of this. And this fell out. That could have complicated my cutting. Let's look and see which side I messed up the most. And it looks like both those sides are actually quite nice. This card is, let me think about it now. It is 5.5 by 4 1/4. So we want 4. Do it several times. See if that helps. Oh my goodness, it did. It really took it off. I couldn't even find it. And then by 5 1/4. And again, eyeballing to see which side I might have flubbed up on the most, but they actually look quite good. Okay. Now that one didn't cut as well, but that's okay. I'm very happy about that. And all right, we do have a Michaels and we have a Joann's, and so I will look. I would be very happy to have. Sylvia is with us all the way from New Zealand. Thank you, Sylvia, for tuning in. I wish you had a Hobby Lobby too, because they have everything. It seems like it's an amazing place. I hate and love going there all at the same time, because I guarantee you that even if I'm there for one thing, I will spend 2 hours looking at, I think, everything. They have so much. It's not like IKEA, thankfully. I can't imagine having a craft place that was like IKEA. I don't think I'd ever have to eat, though. I probably weigh very little, because I could just spend all my time there and not even spend money. I don't even, half the time when I go to Hobby Lobby, I don't even necessarily buy anything much. I just like to look at all of their stuff. Okay, so we've got that and that. So don't you think that rose gold is so pretty? I love that. And then this is just going to get glued on top, and then I can fix my little, my little, I'll call them eyelets, but it's the laser DSP cardstock that this particular one is the retired one, but I'm pretty sure we still have a laser DSP in the catalog. And so we'll put another strip of, I could put some glue there, but okay, vanilla. And I'm going to just trim the edges on this, because I'm having a hard time. I want to be able to see some of my country floral. It's pretty tacky there. If anybody touches it, they're going to get their finger stuck to the card. Okay. There. It doesn't have to actually even cover the edge. It just needs to be by the edge. All right, and we'll just trim off those edges like that. This is the part that this side is the side I end up cutting my card half the time when I try to do stuff like that. Okay, there we go. Now, you know what? I'm not so sure that I actually prefer it with the crumb cake. Maybe I did prefer it with the mint macaron. I thought I was going to like the crumb cake a lot more. Maybe if I had some crumb cake in here, I would. I don't know. All right, we are down to the very last. So I did use, for this one, just to get a different tag, the Timeless label punch. This Timeless label comes with the, I think the Timeless tags are a hostess set, and they're pretty cute. But we're going to just do we're going to do Happy Day, I think, on this one from this. I like Happy Day. Oh, I don't know if it'll fit. It's pretty big. That's probably why I like this stamp. Happy Day. It's large. I think I'm going to get it to fit. It's going to be a close fit, but I think we're going to get it to work. And we want to use the Rococo Rose. I keep forgetting how to spell it. It is just one C in there. Rococo Rose. You inventory everything. Oh my goodness, Freddie, you are so much more organized than me. I am totally unorganized. I keep thinking I'm going to do stuff like that, but I never actually do. It's always I'm going to do that. And then it's like, no, I've got all these other things to do. I'm not doing that. I do like to organize things. I don't necessarily like to inventory, but I do like to actually organize. So when the desk starts to be like this and it's totally covered even more, layers and all, that's finally, I'll say that's enough, and get in there and get everything put away. And then while I'm putting things away, sometimes I do like to actually change the order of things and get it organized better, more efficiently, or just more accurately. I do like to do that. It was something when I was a paraeducator working in a classroom that teachers I worked for loved about me, because I could go in and totally organize their spaces in a way that was actually functional for them. Okay, so again, I'm going to look at my leaves and see where's the most flawed spot here that I want to cover. I actually kind of dislike the way my leaf is sticking up out there. So we're going to stick my label there this time. And because of the way I put the label, it's screaming for a little ribbon or something. And I actually happen to have my handy dandy flirty flamingo here that I cut anyway. So let's tie a little bow and we'll see if that looks good on there. It might. I suspect it will. All right, so while I am doing my bow, remember, you can, for every $50 you spend, you will get a coupon back to buy something in the new catalog that's coming up. And if you have friends who are demonstrators on that cruise, check their pages, because they are getting a sneak peek at the holiday catalog right now. They're having a great time. It looks beautiful. I have to say I am not jealous about what they're eating, because even though it looks delicious, and I'm sure it is delicious, I don't really like seafood, and I'm not eating right now. Wouldn't it have been awful to have won that trip and then not be feeling like I couldn't eat? Oh, good. We're going to put the bow down there. That'll look good. And I think I'll just take a tiny, tiny piece of my dimensional here, and we'll stick it on the back of that bow. Okay, so Sylvia, you know what? You have the luxury of being in a remote enough place, though, where I bet there are a lot of places that you can go where you don't have people, like swarms of people all over the place. And that would be nice. Sometimes when you live in these places where you have all of the conveniences of a Hobby Lobby near you, the other thing is that you have a lot of other people who like Hobby Lobby near you too, and they might not all be people you like to be with. All right. Actually, the little bow helped, but I do think maybe a little bit of bling wouldn't hurt either. And I don't happen to have a flirty flamingo handy. I do have some rosy rococo and a lot of it somewhere nearby, but I think I also in my little... This is my little stash of like jillions of things that I just stick on here. This is part of the reason why eventually I always end up having to come in and reorganize as I keep these things. I did have some pearls, little artisan pearls in there. And they would have looked good with that, but I must have organized them away, so they are gone. So we're going to be happy with that. All right, so we did this card today, and we did this card, and we did, which one? I guess we did this one today. So we were pretty productive, and it was great. And now I am going to, over here on the side, I've got all the names written down of everybody who shared last week's video. Thank you so much for doing that. I appreciate it, Sylvia. I don't think that I'm not sure how much it would cost me to send something to you in New Zealand. Do you know? I bet can I get something simple to you with a stamp? That might be one reason you're not sharing, is because you know I really can't afford to send things to you. I'm not so sure. You'll have to tell me, because I would be happy to send. If it can go on a stamp, I would be happy to send something to you. All right. So Sylvia's name's not in here. But Sylvia, I'm going to pause for a moment. I'm not sure if you've shared. If you do, make sure you write shared, because I can't know if you've shared otherwise. Facebook doesn't let me know any of that kind of information unless you're a personal friend who is a friend, let me say, of my husband, Jeff Crow, because I've taken over his Facebook page. Jeff Crow is who I am. Even though that's not really me, that's my husband. My Kathy Crow's Cards is just a spin-off of Jeff Crow's page, and my Tri-City Crow Garden page is also a spin-off of Jeff Crow's page, because when Facebook first came around and he was happy to get on Facebook to talk to his old high school buddies, I wasn't the least bit interested and didn't ever want to have a page. Then when I decided to do this, I realized that I realized I should have probably started a page, but it was just easier to use Jeff's because his friends are all my friends, right? So anyhow, I'm checking this out now. I'm not going to. Okay, I'm going to close that up. We'll shake it up. I'm going to put the camera up. I'll take my glasses off, but I probably have got big marks all over my face, and it's red. Every time I look at myself, I'm like, whoa, you are warm, girl. And I'm not. When I was a little kid, anytime I went outside and played, I would come in and then adults would say, are you okay? It's like, yeah, I'm fine. What? It's like, oh, your face, it's so red. When I was a teacher at school, the kids after, really, just during the day I get warm, I'm working, right, and heated up. And they would say, Mrs. Crow, your face is all red. Yes, it is every day. Why did you just notice today? Like, it has been all year long, and this is April. Okay, so who shared, who won? You do live in one of those places where there are a few people. Yes, Freddie, I am fair. We also have some Native American blood in my history, so it's possible it could be from that too. Also some German blood. Oh, everybody in the United States. Don't we have the blood of almost everybody all over the world? Probably. Okay, so who won? And it is Jewel. Jewel won last week's video. Now, Freddie, you are in for a turn because you are in here. How come your name didn't come up? And Trudy was in here too. And anyway, it seems like some names aren't coming up and the same people keep coming up. How come they're so lucky? But they are. Jewel, congratulations. You won again. And I think that's it. So I'm going to quickly look at my little list because there were a couple of things I thought. My sailing home class, July 26th. If anybody wants to do it, I have a bunch of people that are doing the to-go option. And so I actually still have some room because I think right now I only have 2 people coming. To the actual thing. I've already sent out a bunch of kits. They're all ready to go. All right, good things come to those who wait, which reminds me that my weight is coming off very, very slowly, but I think I'm going to just be happy with that. I'm like losing 1 pound maybe a week, maybe 1 pound every 2 weeks. It's just so slow. And the end of this month has been my 1 year end. I feel like God said He would do this in 1 year. And I think I'm going to just take a little break from the dieting at the end of this year, and because I think just trying to maintain is going to be like dieting. I think that's going to be very hard. So I might not be eating a lot differently, even though I'm done dieting. And then I can enjoy this last month of summer. We have some vacationing things to do, and I can relax and just enjoy it a little bit. And then when school starts again, Jeff won't be home. He won't be eating all the time. Doing things, I won't be doing things with him that make me want to eat. So I think it'll be easier when school starts. I'll just take a little break in August, and in September, hit hit that old treadmill in a sense again, even though that's never going to stop, I suppose, for a while. I hope you have a great day. And let's see, anything else coming up? Summer, I hope you're enjoying it. We won't have a lot more. It's sort of in the middle of it now. And that's it. So, bye. God bless.